Sound good? Okay, now what I gotta do is take, let's see here, this cam, this is the one that goes inside the roller bearing, and this is the washer and ring that came with that bearing. These need to be pressed on. I'm gonna do this off camera because it's probably gonna be a little bit janky, but it should work. So bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, well, I got the race and the washer on here. These Feuling, actually I guess any of these roller bearings for what they call this leading cam, the kit comes with the bearing, which is in here, the race, which is the ring, the washer, which is obviously a washer, and it comes with a little small O-ring. The O-ring actually goes behind this washer and it centers it on the cam. So in this order, it's going to go O-ring, washer, race, and then the O-ring behind the splines for the sprocket. I wasn't 100% sure on this, so I actually called Feuling Parts just now and they walked me through it. Their customer service is second to none. They're fucking awesome. So this is pressed on. It goes into the bearing very easily and very well. So now I need to line up the timing marks on the cams, on the chain, and then press both of them in at the same time without fucking this up. And I need to make sure I put the cam chain tensioner on the secondary tensioner, which is this one. This needs to go on and it needs to be locked in place up here with a pin. So once this is pressed in, the pin can be taken out and the tensioner can just go right back to putting tension onto this chain. So there's kind of a little bit going on here with this. And another thing is when you're pressing this barrier, this cam, and you need to make sure, because this one just slides in. This doesn't need pressed in. So you need to make sure these are staying level while you're doing this. Otherwise you're going to throw them out of whack and you could possibly break a bearing. I can't remember whose recommendation it was. I think it may have been on one of the Feuling things that came with the cams. But it says to transfer the timing marks onto the back side of the sprockets, which you probably can't see, but I just took a marker and marked the back side. Because when you're pressing these in, you're not going to be able to see the timing marks because they're both, there's one there, one there, one there, and then one underneath this bearing. So once you're pressing these on, you can't see that. So just transfer them to the back side with a marker. That way you know your timing is not getting screwed up while you're pressing these in. So let me get this thing locked in place, and then I can attempt to get these pressed in. Okay. On the secondary one, it has hooks, and you just push it up. You just push it up until these hooks are over top of this hole. Got the cam chain tensioner slack removed. Hurt my thumbs a lot. So now what I'm going to do is clean the inside of this housing. And then I have my cap full of oil here. And I'm going to lube up in here. Now this is just regular motor oil. That should be enough. The timing marks are still good. Yeah, that'll work. Check our timing one last time. Still good. Got that in place. Got that in place. Okay, sliding in. Alright, so let me go ahead and continue to push on this. till it's flush. Alright, I think we're fully seated now. Yep, both cams are fully seated in there. You see the timing points line up perfectly. Alright, now we need to put the plate on here, and then bolt in these 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. And this thing is just about done. So here's the plate, the new plate that came with the Feuling kit. Everything lines up. So hopefully that's a good sign. Now I am going to put a little bit of blue Loctite on these. Everything sounds good. There's no binding or anything. Everything sounds like it's running smoothly. Now we need to get this cam chain tensioner off. With that, I'm going to use a screwdriver. And like I've said, if you have the tools, use them. I just don't. So I'm not. Because again, cheap bastard. Let's pop this over here. Pull you on out. There you go. And you are out of there. As you can see, the tensioner is now tensioning the cam chain. And these still spin. The timing marks I'm going to leave lined up. So yeah, cams are in. New cams, new bearings, new tensioners. I'm going to lube these up with some assembly lube just to keep everything nice and lubed. So yeah, now the only real thing left to do on here is the oil pump, which I do have, and that'll be all for the back side of this. Alright, what I'm working on now is this is the Feuling OE Plus oil pump. All I did was take the inner gears out and the outer gear as well as this retaining plate. And all I'm going to do is take these 3 Allen studs out. I'm just going to spray brake cleaner in here just to clean out anything in here. Then I'm also going to take compressed air and blow the whole thing out just to make sure there's no, because this is a billet piece. I'm sure Feuling takes their time and makes sure everything's good to go before they send it out. But they also say in their paperwork that you need to make sure this thing's cleaned. There's a little bit of metal on here, so I'm just going to spray this out one more time, because I'm referring to all the Feuling literature that they send with their parts on what I'm doing here. So this is the paperwork that came with the cams, and it has instructions for pretty much the entire cam chest. And I'm over here on this back side. I already got the cams done, been lubed, and this is where I'm at right here. It's telling me to apply assembly lube, which Permatex Ultra Slick Engine Assembly Lube is what I'm using, to all of this, all the gears, everything. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, now this plate only goes in one way. As you can see, there's the 4 holes and there's the 1 extra. There's also these 2 little dowels that come out. So just put that one on there. And now I'm going to do the same thing for the outer gears here. Okay, after everything's lubed, it's saying to just bolt this up finger tight to the cam plate. It's easy enough. Okay, finger tight, everything's good. And look at that thing, Shoo, that thing is pretty. Yeah, I guess that'd help if you could see it. I do wish I had the money to get one of their billet plates. That would just make this so much better. Anyway, but that does look good. Hell yeah. Oh, can't wait to get this thing running. Alright, so that's it for the cam plate. That was obviously the rebuild of the cam plate. It was a last minute decision to do the oil pump. I kind of figured while I'm in here I might as well. So the next few videos are going to be getting the engine put back together. And now you're going to see the bike completely torn down as far as the tins, the fairing, and everything goes. But I'm trying to do this in order. Basically the teardown of the engine, then the rebuild of the engine, and then after that's all done, I'm going to do a series of videos on the tearing and painting of the tins and reassembling of everything. I'm going to do it that way just to keep it sort of on the same path, if that makes sense. So I'm not kind of jumping around all over the place like I kind of did when I tore this bike down. But that's the way it worked best for me with the taking time for the machine shop and all that stuff. So the next series of videos is going to be actually putting the cam chest back together to include the inner bearings, timing on the oil pump and the crank sprocket and cam sprocket, and getting all that put back together. And then once that series of videos done, that'll probably be another 2 video part. I'm going to do the jugs, heads, and everything else. That cam plate rebuild was definitely a learning experience. Like I said, I have no experience doing bearing pressing or anything of the sort. So definitely learned a lot, made a few mistakes as you saw. But as always, it's a good time learning. I'm having fun. That's what's important. So keep an eye out for the next video every Thursday. They're coming. So as always, thanks for watching.